Right, this is a quick video, and this is for a Lexus RX400 hybrid, and this is the top of the range SEL model. This particular car is a 2006 car, as you can see, with just 74,000 miles on the clock. I'll go around the car for you. It's finished in this lovely dark blue metallic. I think it's Canterbury blue, but I'm terrible with colours, I do apologise. But very nice car. Just to go around the front of the vehicle, front bumper generally good. There was a few little touch-ins on there, as you'd expect over the 12 years of ownership, but certainly it's such a lovely original car, which is what I really look for in any vehicle. Bonnet, hardly a stone chip of any notes anywhere on there. I can't see anything obvious. Going down the near side of the car first, generally very clean in the panel work. Panels look really nice on the car. Alloys generally good. It's a bit of pickling around the wheel nuts, which is very common on Lexus of this age. A Dunlop tyre on this side, and then down the panels, I think there was one little indentation which I think I've walked past, which I can't quite see. It was on top of the door there. It's just small, a little car parking ink, which any decent dent man could pull out if you really wanted it to. But the panels are very, very clean and crisp. Rear near side alloy, again very good, just a little bit pickling around the spokes there. I mean, this is critical, this video, so I am going to be hard on the car. And then apologise, the sun's lovely, but it doesn't help with doing videos. But you can see there the panels very clean. Angle the camera this way, hopefully you won't get too much more. Then I come around to the off side of the vehicle, which will be glaring in the sun. And then, as you can hopefully see again, nice and clean on the panels. Stop my hand shaking. It's quite a lovely morning, but quite chilly. And then offside rear alloy, generally good. Just only the moderate amount of marks with tiny bit of curbing on that one actually. And then remaining panel work, very, very nice. I think it was 2 Michelin, 2 Dunlop tyres on this car from memory, which is again a good sign of ownership to see good tyres fitted to the car, even at this age. But overall, externally, very good condition for a car of its age and mileage. So coming into the back of the car now, original Lexus load line has been fitted into this car, which is always quite a nice sign of ownership. And again, a very, very big boot with loads of little cubby holes, and obviously 60/40 fold on the rear seats there. It is obviously a power tailgate, just to show you. Little button up there. You do it on the key as well if you want to, but it all works absolutely perfectly. Coming to the back of the car now, rear door card there, you can see absolutely super order. Interior is in really lovely condition, it really is. Leatherwork looks absolutely fantastic. All the carpeted area is really nice, and hopefully you can see there. DVD screens are working in the vehicle. I put the CD in, it seemed to work absolutely fine. Coming to the front now, again passenger door card really nice. Footwell areas all very, very clean and tidy. Dashboard itself has been kept in really, really nice order. And both these front seats are in absolutely fantastic condition. Coming to the front now, again driver's door card really, really nice. I see electrically adjustable seat with memory settings on there as well, but it's been kept very well. So sat inside the car now, dashboard is really, really lovely on the vehicle, it really, really is. Sat nav, everything working exactly as it should. Mark Levinson stereo. It's a really wonderful unit, but it really is fantastic. Just to go across there for you, 74,353 miles recorded in an absolutely super condition. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Lexus RX400 hybrid, SEL model. Car is registered RE06RLZ, and mileage at the start of this road test is 74,347 miles. Reason for doing the road test is very simple indeed. We just want customers of ours, or potential customers of ours to actually see the cars we're advertising actually in operation prior to coming to see us. That way, if there's any issues on the vehicle, we can and will relay them back to you. It's the point of doing the video. Road test is also done on exactly the same test drive route that we go on the same very quiet country roads in this really lovely part of Gloucestershire. We're literally just a couple of minutes away from the M5 motorway, although you'd never believe it here. We're very lucky indeed. We're very well aware that lots of our customers come from not just the UK but also over Europe as well, so the least we can do is do this for you. So coming to the car itself, obviously it has been very well looked after, and that's obvious. Drives beautifully. The hybrid system and engine kicks straight into life. Just turn the key, it just kind of whirs. It'll either go into hybrid mode silently, or it'll kick the engine in depending on the state of charge in the hybrid system. Oopsie daisy. The dashboard is displaying absolutely no warning lights at all relating to the engine, gearbox or anything else apart from low fuel. But it's the way the hybrid system works, which is if someone hasn't had one of these before and is probably used to a similar sized turbo diesel, as fine as they can be, nothing kind of prepares you for what these cars are all about. They're, I use the word seamless really, because that's kind of how it feels, because you've got the combination of the engine, the hybrid and the auto gearbox, which is CVT, so it's constantly variable. There's no gear changes, just wonderfully smooth. The transition from engine to hybrid is all but imperceptible. It does it all for you. You don't tell it what to do as such. It's just a brilliant system, light years ahead of its time, and is far more reliable in operation than any turbo diesel I've ever experienced. So over the long term, they're far better ownership propositions, which is why they've proven so popular. But it runs absolutely perfectly, and I own one of these myself, so I'm in a pretty good position to judge, and we've sold loads of them and I've owned many as well. But this operates wonderfully. When you put your foot down there, you hear the V6 kind of bellow quietly towards you, rather than the drone of a diesel. It's a lovely sounding unit, and the car just seems to catch up with the engine. It kind of gives you that feeling of it's on a catapult almost, but it's a very smooth one as it pulls you forward. Gearbox, needless to say, operates absolutely perfectly. They always do, and they're incredibly tough. But the car drives sensationally well. Steering of the car is again very good on the Lexus. Tracks absolutely bullet straight. There's no vibrations coming back through the steering wheel at all at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. It really does exhibit kind of no wear through the steering at all. It drives, as I said, very tight, very taut. It's certainly in keeping with the mileage of the car. Chassis of the vehicle, again, what I'm looking for on road test is just signs of any kind of thumps coming from underneath the car, which might be usually kind of suspension based, where you've got a bit of rubber bushes perish and it's clonking away. But these are beautifully made and there's nothing at all. You'll hear it hitting a bump, but as subdued as it might be, but there's nothing metallic underneath the car that I can feel. Just going to give the brakes a bit of a shove as well. It's a really good brake pedal. What I'm looking for on the brakes again is just obvious signs of wear, really, where ordinarily you'll get, or you can get with badly worn brakes, pulsing on the brake pedal and vibration coming back through, but there's nothing at all. They feel lovely and solid, as they should be. Coming back to the chassis, clearly the design criteria has been to provide as comfortable a car as possible, and the ride is sensationally comfortable in these cars. It really, really is. That doesn't mean to say it flounders through the corners, because it doesn't. It's not a sports car, far from it, but its body control is actually very good. It doesn't lurch horribly, as some cars can do, and it maintains its composure actually very, very well. Only if you really push on at sort of high speeds would you ever sort of feel any kind of floatiness to the car. looking around inside the vehicle, it's in lovely condition in here. It's got this lovely two-tone interior colouring, which is very sought after on the used Lexus market. Being an SEL, obviously very high spec. Everything I've pressed thus far has worked exactly as it should. If you love your music, you're going to absolutely adore the Mark Levinson stereo. But obviously you can see the sat-nav, everything working there perfectly. All the gauges, all the instrumentation works perfectly as well. But it's actually the controls. I mean, they're such high quality. The build quality is sensational, of course. I mean, these are the best built cars on the marketplace by country mile in the real world of ownership, which is, 10 years plus down the line with a few thousand miles on the clock. And this is where these things stand out. And it just feels rock solid. It really, really does. Every button you press has that wonderfully high quality actuation to it. But it's also, as much as it is high tech in terms of the equipment it's got, it's actually wonderfully simple to operate. Everything is easy to navigate through. Even a technophobe like me can cope with one of these cars very easily indeed. It's just get in, drive it, and all the stuff that you need to use, the sat-nav, radio, is simplicity itself. As I said at the start of the video, the point of the video, as brief as it might be, is really just to show you the car in operation, as I said, but also to sort of feedback any issues there might be, of which there is nothing to report on this car. Absolutely nothing. It drives wonderfully, wonderfully well. Whoever's lucky enough to get it next will be taking on a really fine example.